The San Francisco 49ers had such an insane season, and there were so many storylines, and the major one has to be about Brock Purdy and him going from Mr. Irrelevant to honestly the best rookie quarterback this year. But this Kurt Warner type story made it so some other stories were kind of getting overlooked and kind of, I guess, just accepted. And I think the major one has to be Talanoa Hufanga. And this guy was almost like a Brock Purdy type too, or George Kittle type. He went from a 5th round pick to being a starting safety in this league, and a really good one, an all-pro one that replaced Jaquiski Tartt. And if you remember, Tartt was the one who lost the 49ers that championship game in 2021 by just dropping a interception. But luckily for the San Francisco 49ers, they have a playmaker now that actually picks those off. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. In this video, we're going to look over how the San Francisco 49ers stole Talanoa Hufanga in the 5th round of the NFL draft, and just go over his background a little bit, what type of player he is, how he fits with the San Francisco 49ers, and how he can continue to develop into safety, and hopefully fill in his shoes of his mentor, Troy Polamalu. And if he's able to do even a quarter of what Troy Polamalu did in his career, the San Francisco 49ers got a steal. Hufanga's story begins not too far away from San Francisco, where he was born in Corvallis, Oregon on February 4th, 2000. And later in life, Hufanga attended Crescent Valley High School in the same city he was born in. He played safety, wide receiver, and cornerback. As a senior in 2017, he was the Polynesian High School National Player of the Year. He played in the 2018 U.S. Army All-American game, and 247 Sports also saw a great safety, rating him 29th nationally, and he received offers from the following universities: Utah, UCLA, Nebraska, Michigan, USC, just a plethora, but Hufanga decided to go to USC. And I think the transition to USC made a lot of sense to Talanoa Hufanga because USC has a rich history of Polynesian players having success, including his mentor, Troy Polamalu. As a true freshman at USC in 2018, Talanoa Hufanga played in 8 games with 5 starts, but then he suffered a season-ending broken collarbone. He finished the season with 51 tackles. As a sophomore in 2019, he started all 10 games he played in and recorded 90 tackles and 3.5 sacks. Hufanga returned to USC as a starter his junior year in 2020. He and BYU quarterback Zach Wilson were selected as co-recipients of the 2020 Polynesian College Football Player of the Year award. Some other notable awards Talanoa Hufanga received was Pat Tillman's Defensive Player of the Year, Consensus All-American, First Team All-Pac-12 in 2020 and 2019. So this guy really just went off. And these awards just give a glimpse into the accolades Talanoa Hufanga has and why he developed into such a strong player almost immediately for the San Francisco 49ers. And in college, he was really a playmaker, much like he was on the San Francisco 49ers. He utilizes his instincts a lot and really had a knack for finding the ball and making huge hits. So with all these accolades and just being the player he was, a lot of people might have thought Talanoa Hufanga should have been selected a lot earlier. He sounds like a first-round draft pick, but that's before you get into his measurables, and this is what I think caused him to just plummet on people's boards because they're afraid of having a pretty slow safety that would just get cooked in coverage. His 40-yard dash is 4.64 seconds. But the San Francisco 49ers decided to take a flyer on him, drafting Talanoa Hufanga in the 5th round of the 2021 draft, 180th overall. And Talanoa Hufanga did a lot to really ingratiate himself with the San Francisco 49ers fans. He showed such a strong work ethic his rookie year, just trying to develop into the player that he could be today. And a lot of this has to do with his mentorship with Troy Polamalu. And I think a lot of the instincts and the drive and just his work ethic has to be tied to that relationship. I mean, Troy Polamalu really understands what it takes to be a player in the NFL at a high level. And things that Troy Polamalu have even said about Talanoa Hufanga is that he really takes the advice to heart. When Talanoa Hufanga was told no social media by Troy Polamalu, he did that. And he just kept doing things Troy Polamalu told him to do. And I think that really just shows who Talanoa Hufanga is. He's not someone who says he will do something, but he's someone who does do something. Going into his rookie year, Talanoa Hufanga also had dreams of being an all-pro special teams player. And Talanoa Hufanga did play a lot on special teams, playing in a total of 15 games, starting 3, combining for 32 tackles. And he actually did really great. And in the special teams, he made a huge impact. In the divisional playoffs against the Green Bay Packers, he recovered and returned a blocked punt for a critical touchdown, which eventually set up a 13-10 victory for the San Francisco 49ers. And this was in contrast to the other safety, who a game later lost the San Francisco 49ers by dropping a key interception. But going into the 2022 season, a lot of people did not see Talanoa Hufanga as a starter, and most people were calling for the San Francisco 49ers to draft a safety, including myself, because, well, a safety that runs a 4.64 second 40 isn't ideal in the NFL, especially when you have the likes of Tyreek Hill. But general manager John Lynch has like a foresight into this, maybe because he was a safety and he knew Talanoa Hufanga was fine regardless of this because of his instincts. And that has to go link back into his playing time and just his ability to continue to pull the trigger and have faith in his playing style. Talanoa Hufanga also made sure he didn't fall into a sophomore slump by working his tail off the whole offseason, spending tons of time with Troy Polamalu, but a lot of time just working on himself, understanding what it takes to be an NFL player, continuing to develop into an NFL player. And this followed him this whole entire year before every game, and he was the first person on the field and just made it really a point of emphasis to go the extra mile in practice, in games, everywhere. It wasn't just a one-time thing or just when cameras were on him. It was every practice and every game. And he really, this is where he was able to develop those instincts, I think, is by putting in all this effort and all this extra time. You're a step faster than the other players who spend a little bit less time studying than you or a little bit less time working out than you. And that's how he has to do it, because he isn't the most gifted safety physically. He has to do it by just putting in tons of effort. And this is where Talanoa Hufanga just kills it. And in his 2022 season, all this work played off, being named All-Pro 2022 first team. And that's just a huge accomplishment for his first year starting. And here are some of his stats, and I think the major one I want to highlight is his interceptions. He had 4 interceptions with 61 yards. 15.3 is his average, and he had a long 52-yard touchdown. But despite all these great things Talanoa Hufanga did, he can even get better and make it even a bigger steal for the San Francisco 49ers. And this is but done by following through on DeMeco Ryans' coaching advice, and that's cleaning up his eye discipline. Because sometimes Talanoa Hufanga gets caught up looking forward and trying to make a play, and that's how he gets caught in these compromising positions with the receiver behind him, because he's looking forward at a receiver trying to jump a route. And often that pays off in the San Francisco 49ers defense, but he just needs to make sure he's always the last line of defense, because as a safety, that is his job. But I have little doubts Talanoa Hufanga will be able to accomplish this feat, because he's shown a continual improvement every single year of playing football, it seems like. He's just someone that's able to put in the work and understands coaching points and able to apply them effectively to his game. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the support that you guys have given this channel. It means a ton. I appreciate everyone that watches these videos, and please like, subscribe, and give me your thoughts on this video down below.